Hello aspirants, welcome to UPSC Vidyalaya. Myself Birendra Yadav and welcome you all for today's discussion. Student, as you can see on the board, I have brought in a very important discussion today. When it comes to the UPSC examination, I think that be it your CAPF AC, CSC or other UPSC examination also, this topic will remain very important in 2025. So students, in today's class, I will be touching upon all the important aspects only that will be important for you to understand this topic very clearly. So I will make sure to touch only the important aspects by which you can answer well in your paper 1, paper 2 and interview also. So students, you know that currently the central government and the state government, mainly the central government and the Tamil Nadu state is fighting over the national education policy, mainly the new education policy, national education policy 2020, which was brought in 2020, and mainly they are fighting over the 3-language formula. You know that students, that in Tamil Nadu, the Tamil Nadu state follows 2-language formula. So I will touch upon only the important things which will be important for us to understand this. Okay, so students, let's start with the new education policy. In order to understand the 3-language formula, we need to firstly understand what is the new education policy. The new education policy was the first new education policy that was in the National Education Policy of 1968. The National Education Policy of 1968 brought the 3-language formula for the first time. Before the 1968, the National Education Policy, it was the Radhakrishnan Committee, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Committee was the first committee who gave up this idea of 3 languages. And thereafter came the Kothari Commission. The Kothari Commission. This was in the year 1964 to 66. Even it formalized the 3-language formula, but it was first implemented by the 1968 National Education Policy. Now, what is 3-language formula? 3 languages formula, it was first given by Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. By the 3-language formula, it was decided that 3 languages will be used for education purpose. Now, why 3 languages? You know that India is a very diverse country. So, by these 3 languages, the first language would be the mother tongue. First language would be the mother tongue. The second language was considered to be Hindi or any other modern Indian language. And lastly, the second language, Hindi mainly, was considered to be a link language or the federal languages by which every citizen from other states can communicate with each other. So this was the logic behind it. The first was mother tongue, because mother tongue plays a very important role in the initial years of a child. So it will be used for basic primary education. Thereafter, Hindi will take, Hindi has to be inculcated, and finally English for international communication. So this was the logic behind the 3-language formula. Now, so this was a bit of a background. What I am only touching upon that which will be important for us from the exam perspective. So I think student, you must know this, the new education policy, the Radhakrishnan Committee, the Kothari Commission, and what is the 3-language formula. So now, after the 1968, whatever national education policy was formed, be it your 1986, 2000, and also in the year lastly, that is 2020. This 3-language formula was kept continued. Now, what changed in the new education policy of 2020? As I mentioned that the state of Tamil Nadu is following the 2-language formula. I will also tell you briefly why it is following the 2-language formula, but let's first understand what is the new education policy 2020 and what it talks about the 3-language formula. In the new education policy 2020, the 3-language formula was kept, but condition was changed here. In the previous new education policy, Hindi had an important role. But in the policy of 2020, it was decided that 3 languages must be taught. One is obviously English, but the another 2 languages could be any languages, modern Indian languages native to India. So this was the changes. Any languages, not specific, not mandatorily Hindi, but any 2 modern Indian language. So this was the policy changes which was brought in here. And second, in order to gain the funds associated with the new education policy, whole of the policy should be implemented. And funds which is allocated by the central government to state will only be released when all of the feature of the new education policy will be implemented. So this has brought the conflict between the center and the Tamil Nadu government. Now let's come to the very important part of this topic. Now firstly, a very first question that will come to your mind that, sir, states are also governments. Why central government need to formulate a policy and implement in other states? Why can't only states go and implement it? You must know the basics. So you must be knowing that by the 42nd Amendment Act, Constitutional 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Before this, education was into the list of, we know that in India we have 3 lists, union list, in which only union government can formulate policy and laws. There is state list where state can formulate, and there is concurrent list. So why this 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act? Education, forest, wildlife, administrative of justice, weight and measure. These 5 subjects have been brought out from the state list and they have been kept into the concurrent list. This is important fact. You must know this. I think they can also ask this question. In 42nd Amendment, there are 5 subjects. Just to name it very briefly: education, forest, wildlife. This is an important fact. I think you must know this. They can ask a question in paper 1. And thereafter weights and measures. And lastly, administration of justice. These 5 subjects were brought out from the state and they have been put into the concurrent list. So that is how now the education policy can be formulated by the central government also and state government also. So this is how the new education policy was. That is how the central government is saying Tamil Nadu to enforce it. The new education policy. Now, second important question: why the state of Tamil Nadu is opposing it? In order to understand, you must know that the Madras presidency was there before the state of Tamil Nadu. The Madras presidency was. In the Madras presidency, there were 3% Brahmins. In the Madras presidency, before the state of Tamil Nadu was formed, during the Britishers' time, there was Madras presidency. In the Madras presidency, there were 3% Brahmins and 90% of the government jobs. They were holding 3% of Brahmin population was there, and they were holding 90% of the government jobs there. So what happened? They were mainly Brahmins, and even the Britishers favored the Brahmins because they were educated. So what happened? The politics in the south, or mainly in the Tamil Nadu, the leaders there, mainly the E.V. Ramaswamy, also known as Periyar, famously known as Periyar, he started with the self-respect movement. Self-respect movement, and also these are important students. I think they can ask question from here. The self-respect movement, and he was also associated with the INC, that is the Indian National Congress, but he resigned from the INC in 1925, saying that the INC is only favoring or only working for the Brahmins. This was his point. Indian National Congress. And thereafter, he was also associated with the Justice Party. Now you can see that the self-respect movement is nothing but it was for the backward people who were kept of the jobs in the Madras presidency. So in order to bring all those masses into the freedom struggle, the E.V. Ramaswamy, also known as Periyar, he started this self-respect movement to fight elections or to mobilize people in the Madras presidency. And thereafter, he was also issued with the Justice Party. And from here, from this movement, started the Dravidian movement. Now, just to give you a bit of a background, to bring up here the important points. Now, this Dravidian movement thing, the E.V. Ramaswamy Periyar thought, it was his thought that the Indo-Aryan people of the North Indians, mainly the North Indians, and the Dravidian people of the South Indians are of different origin and their languages is also different. So as in the Madras presidency, 3% people were occupying 90% of seats in order to fight Brahmins or the Brahmin dominancy by the other backward people. He came the idea with of the Dravidian movement, by which he stated that the Indo-Aryan people or the Hindi people of North India are different. The Dravidian people are different. Their languages are Dravidian languages. Their personality and other traits are different. In comparison to the Indo-Aryan people, they are staying in the Northern Indians. So by the Dravidian movement, he tried to protest against the INC, the Indian National Congress, and other parties also. And he started to carve a separate identity for the South Indian people. So that is how, if you see the current parties of the Tamil Nadu, that is the DMK or the AIDMK. Both of these parties, they owe their origin from this movement of Periyar. That is the Dravidian movement. So that is how, be it the party in power or the opposition, they think that they have originated from this movement, and that is why they oppose Hindi. They feel that, even the Periyar said that if you apply Hindi, it is again the dominance of Brahminism which will take over Tamil Nadu also, and we will lose our cultural traits. So that is why even today the state of Tamil Nadu is opposing Hindi implementation, and all of these years from the start, from the 1968 only, they have adopted the two languages formula only. So by now you must have understood that the new education policy is saying that no compulsion of Hindi. But now you also know that the Tamil Nadu has a different historical and political discourse there. So they are opposing. Now the central government is saying that no compulsion of Hindi. Now Tamil Nadu is saying that okay, we get that point, but you are back channeling Hindi. Now this is also one of the this is also where the Tamil Nadu state is accusing the central government. Now how back channeling? That they are saying that the central government gives fund for the development of Hindi but not other languages. Now they are saying that Tamil Nadu is saying that the central government give funds. The central governments give good, and the central government is giving a lot of many funds for the Hindi development and not the other languages. They are also saying that in the northern India, 3-language formula is not applied uniformly and not on the Indian scale also. So this is, and how back channeling? The center is giving fund, and also the researchers, the professors are the professors of Hindi are the resources, or the professors are far developed of Hindi in comparison to any other languages. So once we adopt the 3-language formula, Hindi will take precedence over other languages, because in other languages they are not very well developed as Hindi is developed. So ultimately student will have to take Hindi because there they will find good resource and good teachers also. And when it is the duty of the central government to promote Hindi, so Hindi will flourish more, and ultimately Tamil Nadu will have to accept it. So this is the point which they are bringing on the table. And I think that students, so far we have understood, we have covered all the important aspects, what is happening and why Tamil Nadu is opposing. Now what is the solution? Now what is the solution? Let's talk about the possible solutions. See students, you must be knowing that now so far, just to give you a bit of a background, I have already given you. Now let's talk about what is the possible solution. You must have known that in the policy, there is nothing as such that only Hindi should be taken. But Tamil Nadu has a different political background, so they are opposing. So what is the possible solution? Firstly, in order to write the possible solution, you can say that we'll have to take a balanced approach. Firstly, Hindi should be promoted because it is an official language by also an official language adopted by the Constitution Assembly 1950. But again, in 1963, Hindi and English was also accepted as the official language by a law, and state have been given liberty to accept any other language as their official languages. So this thing has been brought. By this you will understand that India is a very multilingual country. So what are the possible solutions? Firstly, if you go and see the Constitution Article 29, Constitution Article 29, 351, 350, you know that there is also provision in the Constitution to appoint a special commissioner for the protection of minor or the languages. There is also appointment of commissioner by the president for protection of minor languages. So Constitution says that all of these languages must be protected. So it is the constitutional duty on the center to protect other languages also. So government is already developing Hindi. It must also give funds for development of other languages also. First thing is this. The government is giving Hindi because it is a constitutional duty on the central government, but government must also allow funds for development of other languages also. This is the first point. Second point is, see, states must be given, the states like Tamil Nadu, it must not enforced, and it must not be enforced forcefully. Rather, states like Tamil Nadu should be given the liberty or time to make the basic practical arrangement to enforce it fully. Now, there must be uniformity in application. I mean to say, if the three language formula is in policy of the government, that government must look into that, not only in South India or not only in Tamil Nadu, in every section, every part of India, it must be enforced uniformly. Okay, now you must have noticed that the state of Tamil Nadu is taking, that it is only taking the same stand that it is not applied in North India. Why to apply here only? And students, lastly, see what happens majority of the times, politics, it becomes very important when it comes to the implementation of policies of the government. Many a times things get entangled into the politics of the day. So government must also utilize other channels, like you know that there is Niti Aayog, then there is interstate relationship, so interstate councils are there. So government, instead of political bickering, state center governments must bring up the leaders in other formats and discuss and get it implemented. So I think that we have the you must be knowing that there is Niti Aayog, there is various committee can be formed, or the interstate commission or regional commission. You know that there are many very various platform where in the state and center meets. It must be discussed there. Every section or parties must be brought together, and it must be implemented uniformly, because you must be knowing that when the Hindi and other Indian languages are fighting over, and other modern languages are fighting over, Hindi and other modern languages are fighting over, English is benefiting. English is benefiting. And you know that English is a foreign language, but it also has its advantages. It will be very biased to just look at English from that it is a foreign language. It also have many benefits also. But one thing is there, in order to make the governance reach to the last mile, the last grassroots people. Now, a person if farming into Bihar will not be comfortable in English, not be able to understand laws in English. So here, the importance of modern language and Hindi languages become very important. And what I am trying to project here is, when Hindi and other modern English languages are fighting over because of the politics and other practical challenges, English is gaining the benefit. English is getting further entrenched in our society. So this is also a challenge which India has to look into. And that is why the 3 languages formula makes sense for India. Okay? Because suppose India government is also thinking about bringing up the all India judiciary. So in that case, suppose a person from Kerala, if he appears for the all India judiciary and he is posted into Haryana or UP or Bihar, so if he must have studied the 3 language formula, he will be comfortable in his own mother language, that is Malayali, and also comfortable in English and also in Hindi also. So he can go and be a judge at any place. And even if you look into the civil services, or maybe also the central services also the paramilitary forces also. So if you're comfortable in 3 languages, that's whole good, and that's that is why it has been continued for so long. But you know that many of our good policies get entangled into the politics of the day, and as I've mentioned, how the politics of Tamil Nadu is different from politics of other states and India at large. So students, I hope so. Today I have been able to clear all the important topics which is associated with this. And I'll catch you up again in the other class. Till then, all the best.